Dudes, season 10 of Fortnite is right around the corner. Hopefully you guys are excited because, dudes, today we're checking out all the season events that led up till season 9. So if you missed season 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9 somehow, today we're looking at all the season events that lead up to where we are today for season 10. Of course, if you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a like. If you're new around here, hit that subscribe button. And let's jump right into season 10 first. So as you guys know, season 10 is starting off with a banger. The first teaser we received was of Dusty Depot. Now this was destroyed way back. This was destroyed, I think, in like season 6, I believe. I'm not even exactly sure, but it was destroyed a long time ago. I started playing at the beginning of Battle Royale. Day 1 Battle Royale came out is when I started playing Fortnite. And to see season 10 teaser starting off with this amazing picture is crazy. It's Dusty Depot, and it says think back on the 1st, because on the 1st of next month, which is August, we are getting season 10. So that's our first teaser. Then we received look forward. So think back, look forward, and then we have a huge robot. Now, I don't know what this robot does, or what it's all about, but as you guys can see, there's something suspicious going on here. Very, very strange things happening. So those are the 2 season 10 trailers that we currently have, and there's a brand new one coming out today. So be on the lookout for it on my Twitter. All information will be found down below. Now, for season 10, I'm going to be giving away season 10 battle passes, as well as anyone that uses code GamingWithGarry, I'll hook you up. I'll hook you up. Use code GamingWithGarry for season 10, and I'll be on the lookout. All right, I'm going to hook some people up. Some of you awesome fans, I'll hook you guys up because you are subscribers of the channel. And without further ado, let's get into all the season events that you may have missed, because this is going to be a long one. It's going to be good. First off, we got the season 4 rocket event. Now, this thing was pretty crazy, and if you missed it, well, you missed one of the greatest things that ever happened in season 4, because this rocket was so cool. Now, this was the villains base, and the villains had this massive rocket ship. And as you guys can see, this rocket did some crazy things, but originally this rocket was not supposed to be real. If you guys are a part of season 4, the 2 skins involved in season 4, the Carbide and the Omega skin, were just actors. They weren't even bad people. They were just actors, a part of a movie. And it wasn't until the stranger, or I guess the visitor, came and made the rocket actually a real rocket, because, well, yeah, it was never supposed to do this, but it did. And it blew everyone's mind because it destroyed a part of, I believe at the time, Fatal Fields, and blasted off in the sky, as you guys can see. And then all this strange stuff happened. Zero oscillator on. And then it gave some coordinates. Now this is why everyone thinks in season 10, the visitor is coming back, because of this right here. As you guys can see, it did all this stuff, came into Tilted Towers, did that boom thing, right? And then it was like, oh, well, where did it go? What just happened? Then it came back in a rift on the other side of the map. This was crazy. This was so crazy. This was a crazy event. Look at this thing go. Look at it go. And then flew by Loot Lake, and then now it stopped at like big areas of the map. Loot Lake right here, Durburger, Greasy Grove, Tilted Towers, and yeah, as you guys can see, that's when it just, so that's when it broke. This was like it broke the world. That's pretty much what it was. Season 4 was the start of something crazy, when it shattered the universe, pretty much. So that was season 4 rocket event. Now, season 5 is when Kevin the Cube appeared. If you guys don't know who Kevin the Cube is, it was this massive cube that came out of that huge hole in the sky that the rocket created. And we never really knew why this was even happening at the time. And it's funny because this happened during a summer skirmish with, I was in this summer skirmish. And it was crazy because this massive cube just appeared out of nowhere. And it was super awesome. But when that happened, the rift in the sky closed. As you guys can see, here's Ninja. And he actually was playing in the summer skirmish.
Okay, come here. We need to take a rift.
When this event happened. He doesn't even care. He doesn't even realize it's an event. Now he does.
What just happened? This is the tournament.
Events.
What is that? Look, dude, I don't care. We're going here. What's happening? They calculate. This is calculated.
Events always happen at the worst times because I feel like events always happen during tournaments, and that's why the most recent event, the monster event and the robot, didn't have any damage to the map because of the amazing map destruction. They didn't want to destroy the map, so yeah, this is where they learned.
Ow, ow! Don't shoot it. Get away from it.
Get away from it, he says. Yep, that just happened, dude.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Epic, poor timing.
Epic, terrible timing.
I loved this event. It was great to me. It was amazing. Yeah. So this event actually happened before. What you just saw right now happened before the cube arriving, because the cube actually had multiple stages on that little like rooftop of lightning strikes happen on that like little cactus area. And this is when the cube in season 5 dissolved into Loot Lake. And this was a crazy event because it turned over like you guys see right now, and then this happened. It was freaking nuts. It just started doing this weird like thing and just started going into the lake, and it was such a cool experience to see live. Hopefully many of you guys saw these things happen. If you guys didn't, we can go through this together, and let me know, when did you start playing Fortnite? What season, and which is your favorite season event? I know which one's my favorite, but I'm gonna let you guys know towards the end of the video. So if you guys enjoy it, be sure to drop a like. If you're new around here, hit that subscribe button, because we are only in season 5. We have 4 more seasons to go and some secrets you may not know about. So let's check those out as well. So as you guys know, the cube went into the lake, and right when the cube dissolved into the lake, it made the water of the lake from a water like substance. As you guys can see, he's walking in the water right now. It made it from a water where you could be inside of it to now a thing that like you can run on. It's weird. So pretty much the cube did all this noise, went into the water, and then that is when Loot Lake was changed forever, which was actually really freaking cool. So there you go. So now the cube is in the water, and you can now bounce on Loot Lake, and that was crazy. So we're thinking that Fortnite for season 10 is going all the way back to the beginning, season 1, pretty much starting all over, which would be super dope. But we're gonna have to see what happens. So season 6 was the butterfly event. This had to do with the cube, and if you guys remember, the cube with it going inside of Loot Lake, it then ended up coming out of Loot Lake and causing this brand new area for this season, which would be the butterfly effect. So during this time, the cube is leaking into this massive rift, or I guess like typhoon, that has been created because of the cube. And upon that last leakage of the cube then ends up spinning, and it ends up creating this huge like phenomenon event that I actually got to watch really nicely across at those factory locations over there. And this event was super interesting because no one knew what was going to happen, and it was the first time an event took us somewhere else. All other events were very like, this happened in game and you just sat back sat back and watched it. But this event here was one of the first times that we ever had something take place where we just didn't only just watch, but we were heavily involved in the cinematic, and that was this right here. So what this event did was it took you into this alternate universe, which till this day we don't know what this was, and it pretty much had you flying in the sky, and it was really cool because it was something we had never seen before. But what was so interesting, that every single person in this battle royale lobby got the experience the butterfly effect. And the butterfly effect was simply just a butterfly coming to you and showing you the way. So you're just a dude out in this world, and out of nowhere, out of just time passing, a butterfly came and landed on you. And as you guys can see, this is not the normal world. Like, this was a super interesting seasonal change that none of us could expect or even like forecast was even happening, because it was just so random. But as you guys can see, the butterfly takes place and it actually comes to your character with some very like mythical sounding from a rift. And all these things are dealing with rifts. So here's a rift, and outside the rift is a butterfly. So the rift turns into a butterfly, and then the butterfly then lands on your character, as you guys can see here. And it like swirls your character's looking at the butterfly, and you're like, what the heck is going on? And then you realize you're about to get teleported back into the world. But we never really I never understood what the butterfly like was. Like, what was the butterfly? Like, never got it. But look how cool this was. Like, you landed on your finger, and everyone got to do this that was in the lobby, and then it just teleports you back into Fortnite. And that's when the massive change happened, where everybody comes flying down, and what Loot Lake was before was no longer that. So as you guys can see, Loot Lake was changed in game instantly, and that was super crazy to see, because that was the first time that the map had a huge drastic change like this while we were in the game, and it wasn't a new season, but it took us into an alternate reality, which then created this new Loot Lake, which, well, as you guys can see, yeah, was very, very different than what we had before, because it no longer had the island on top with a floating cube. So very cool event. Really, really enjoyed it. And as you guys can see, it's like a rainbow effect also happened on it. So moving on, the season 7 was the Ice Storm event. So this is when the Ice King came into season 7. You guys know how that went down. And then the Ice King, with the Fire King escaping, decided to freeze the whole map. And that's when the Ice King came out of the ocean and froze everything. This is when we had planes. This is when we had so many crazy things in the map. He ends up moving his hand in a way where he pretty much just sends a massive snowstorm across the whole map, because the Ice King wanted to control the map and wanted to make sure that, like, pretty much the whole map was his kingdom, not only just polar peaks. So he tried to make the whole map ice, and then slowly but surely, you guys know that the Fire King ended up escaping, and because he is the Fire King, he was able to, you know, change the outcome of our Fortnite map. So the Ice King really did some cool stuff when he was in his cube thing, in his ball, but it just was no match with the Fire King. And as you guys can see, like, this was a really cool event, because this event showed you how big they can make a change. So this, after season 6, with the season 7, how they changed the map all into ice, that was crazy, because it had never been done before. And the only time we had seen this happen before was for the Christmas events. So during Christmas time, I believe, during the holidays, they had made the map like snow filled, but that was only like once. So it wasn't a huge difference until season 8 with the unvaulting event. Now, by far, this was the most, I guess, heavily involved event. Like, this event was very interesting because it required players to actually decide what they wanted to happen. And this was the most involving event. So all the other events you took part in, you had some involvement, but this one was much more than just that. It was like you got to choose what you wanted to come back. And that's exactly what happened here. Everyone loaded into this lobby and they had the pickaxe what they wanted. Of course, as you guys know, the drum gun is what came back. Everyone chose the drum gun. I personally did not want the drum gun. I was more of the TAC SMG guy, but it's fine. Everybody wanted the drum gun, so the drum gun ended up coming back. We have, like, nobody wanted the grappler. Very little people wanted the sword, and some people wanted planes. I don't even know how that's a thing, but yeah. Everyone got to choose what they wanted. And this was the first reveal right here of the new season with that mask on the table. So that mask was like the new season skin that was coming, that we all got to see early at this season 8 unvaulting event, which was super fun, and so many of you guys enjoyed it. So let me know in the comment section, what did you vote for in season 8? Did you choose the drum gun, or did you choose the TAC SMG or the bounce pads? Let me know in the comment section what you guys chose. Actually, I think I was voting for the bounce pads. I wasn't voting for the TAC SMG. I think think I was a bounce pad guy. I was either attack SMG or a bounce pad guy. I don't remember. But I was there, dudes. I was pickaxing away. And then I just ended up giving up because I was like, there's no way that people are going to vote for anything else. Because the drum gun, as you guys can see, that meter going up was like the amount of people voting for it. Like, that's how many people voted for the drum gun. And as you guys can see, it's so much more ahead of everything else. Attack SMGs like at 20% or like 10%. The plane didn't even get off the ground. But with every single vote, the drum gun got more and more broken. As you guys can see, the pillars breaking slowly but surely. So with every single vote, everything's breaking, and nothing else was even close. Like, not even by a little bit. It was such a long shot of a win. Like, nothing else really got. The highest was the TAC SMG. Even the TAC SMG didn't get that far. Like, the drum gun had a substantial amount of people voting for it, so it was pretty crazy. So once the drum gun was voted for as the thing people wanted, all the other stuff went back down, and that drum gun like pillar ends up breaking and to end up coming into our world. So very, very cool way they did it. Honestly, super happy. So after you voted, it threw everybody in the sky back out the way you came, and then the drum gun was added to the game. So super, super interesting. The next event, of course, was the volcano event, and that was when the volcano erupted into many parts of the map, destroying many things, starting off with Retail Row, then erupting again, destroying what it appeared to be Tilted Towers, but then it did this whole thing and it went elsewhere and actually landed in Polar Peaks. And after that explosion, then we received the final explosion, which was this large piece of fragmentation of the volcano, which then broke into multiple pieces, landing at Tilted Tower. So this was one of my favorite events because I thought it was so cool the way they did this. And of course, Tilted Towers had been rumored to be destroyed for a very, very long time, and they finally destroyed Tilted Towers. And it was a huge shocker to the community, like, oh my god, cannot believe this happened. This event was crazy because no one could imagine Tilted Towers was actually going to be destroyed, and it was. And it wasn't until season 9 when they brought back Tilted Towers to Neo Tilted, and then we had this amazing event, which is the robot versus monster, which many of you guys have seen most recently. Now, this event was crazy because it was one of those events that you really didn't know what was going to happen. Like, the robot could have won, the monster could have won, we had no idea. But what was cool about it is that they gave us jetpacks so we can fly around with. They had unlimited jetpacks, and this monster event was mind-blowing to me. So I believe this one, maybe it was because the most recent one, but it was also the most like up-to-date event, was the most mind-blowing for me. So in the comment section, let me know what your most favorite was. Mine was season 9. And if you somehow missed this event, it was crazy. So as you guys can see, he did a lot of map damage here, but no map damage actually took place. And the reason for that is because of the World Cup. So the World Cup happened this past week, and because of the World Cup, they didn't want to destroy the map with this monster because it would cause too much damage to what was going to happen at the World Cup. To have a huge change like this take place right before the biggest tournament in history of esports would be too drastic. So they made no changes to the map except 2. That building he just destroyed and the end result, which is the monster's remains. But as you guys can see, he smashes, he does all these things, but no map damage takes place. Nothing drastic ever happens with this event. The rockets going out, even like the destruction of Polar Peak on his back just evaporates due to the rockets. He had Polar Peak on his back and then it was destroyed because of the rockets, but you don't see Polar Peak broken anywhere on the map, which is very interesting that they didn't add that anywhere. I think the robot versus monster event was super dope, super awesome, and honestly one of the best events we've ever seen take place because it was literally like a movie. It's like watching a movie take place. Like, it's freaking crazy. Till this day, watching this back, I'm like, holy, look at that, dude. It's like a freaking movie. The monster's like, yeah, I got him down. And the robot's like, not today, mother trucker. Not today. And that's when he charges up runs at him, and tackles, baby. Boom. And that's when you think it's all over. But the monster came from the water. So why would the monster go, like, why would he be dead, right? You think like, oh man, he's dead. Like, the robot just won. Especially when the robot comes out of the water. And this guy that's watching this is so confused. He has no idea what's happening. But right here, like, you guys can see, like, boom, the robot wins. Everyone, like, you can hear like the victory music. It sounds good. And then, yep, this happens. He destroys the monster destroys the robot's jetpack. As you guys can see, it's tearing through the back. Now, here's what doesn't make sense to me. The robot's in critical form. You can see he destroys the jetpack, so then he throws him off him by losing his arm. Totally lost his arm. The arm goes in the water, and you guys can see here that the robot is really, really messed up. Like, the monster's hurt, but the robot is really messed up. And that's when the robot decides to take his fists and smash it into the power source for Neo Tilted. As you guys can see here, where he gets all the power of the cube pretty much and charges up his suit. And charging up his suit allows him to combat the monster here with one nice punch, knocking him down to oblivion. Like, literally just knocks him out. And that's when it gets super interesting, because the robot doesn't stop there. With all this newfound power, he heads over to Neo Tilted and pulls out the statue from Neo Tilted and gets a sword from the statue, which is freaking awesome. And at this point, the monster's pissed, and that's where you get this epic shot. And that's how the story of the monster vs. robot ends. And it's crazy. So, let me know in the comment section, what has been your favorite event so far? I think this by far was the most detailed, the longest as well, I believe. And I don't know why this guy keeps trying to emote while he's jetpacking. He does it every time and it doesn't work. I don't know why he keeps trying. I was definitely on team robot, and even though many of you guys are team monster. And see, here it doesn't make sense. He broke the guy's jetpack, but his jetpack and his feet, like, foot boosters still work. I don't get that. I don't understand how that happened. But big thanks to all of you guys that watched this video. If you guys enjoyed it, be sure to drop a like. Hopefully it was super detailed, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with a brand new video. Bye, guys.